happens, though. It's like,
It's getting worse, though. That commute's getting worse.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting on September 11th, 2019. Present tonight are Lou Perrin, member, Will LePage, member, Steve Wetruba, clerk of the board, Richard Clark, vice chairman, myself, Daniel Edmiston, and Don Johnson, our town planner. All right, if I can hear a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I'd like to move that we approve the minutes of the August 28th, 2019 meeting.
I have a motion to accept the minutes from last meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I'm gonna have to abstain since I wasn't here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passed. All right, item number B, we have an A&R plan, 20 Bonneview Road. Are you here for that, sir? Nope. Oh, this is the request withdrawal, sorry, excuse me.
last week's.
That was last week, right? I'm on the wrong one. Excuse me, gentlemen. Thanks, Tom. All right, we do have an A&R plan. Frederick, Cheryl, and Eleanor Meyer, property located at 200 Dudley, Southbridge Road. Please come on up. Is there a sign-in sheet done at all?
Weapons of choice here. Hit the floor.
Is there a copy of the plan done?
Okay.
Like a bigger desk here to make it better for the plans, don't we? Pull out extension or something. All right, let me push that one down to you guys.
I believe we can show this.
You have the application too, Don? Yeah, you got it there.
I thought Carol put it in here.
All right, if you just state your name and give us a brief explanation of what you want to do, we appreciate it.
My name is John Farron. I'm a registered land surveyor. I did the survey through the plan that presented here. It's an A&R in zone 87, so maybe 87,000 square foot. The topo is required, showed the access is required. So it meets all the aspects of an A&R plan.
So you're not asking for any waivers at all? No.
It's the application.
So it appears that the owners here have at least 87 acres, and they're splitting away 8,700 square feet for a lot along 200 Dudley Southbridge Road.
87,000, yes.
87,000.
Yeah, what did I say?
8,700.
Okay, excuse me.
It's an urban lot.
Yep. So we have, looks like at least 235 feet of frontage on the road, only 150 is required. We have topo, we have the driveway profile. Don, have you already received the check for this?
Yes, we did.
We got the check. Signatures, we've got dates, we've got no waivers. Does the planning board have any questions? Looks pretty cut and dry to me. With the scale. Yeah, if there aren't any questions or comments from the planning board, looking for a motion to accept this A&R plan.
I should endorse.
Pardon me?
Endorse, I think.
Will you endorse it? All right, we'll endorse it.
I'd like to make a motion that we endorse the A&R plan as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, so just for the record, this is recorded in the Worcester District Registry of Deeds book of 51920, page 130. Dudley Assessor's Tax Plate, map number 216, plot number 3. All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, endorsed. Let's sign. Yep.
I brought a better Mylar plan tonight. I presented one earlier that I had
You want
gotten
us to
a
sign
bad
that
batch
one?
of Mylar and it just didn't,
Okay.
All right.
didn't look good, so I just
Yes,
replaced.
we can sign both Mylars then, right? This one Mylar here okay for signature as well? We can sign both of them?
Well, this one, the old one I just want to throw away.
Okay, we'll throw away that one. All right, so we, 2 signatures on the paper copies and 1 on the Mylar, right, Don?
2 paper copies and 1 Mylar, yes.
All right. Get the plans, everything passed around, we'll get this squared away. It's nice when they're so cut and dry.
Yeah, I like doing it.
Sign that one.
Oh, the Sharpie?
Get up and
All right, so we want to take this out and retire it. All right? There we go.
Give them the wrong batch, it's like, it's not for an inkjet. More for a laser printer.
Look pretty good, actually.
That's the better one, huh?
Don? Could I have a second signature on one of these?
check the plans, they look like a ring
Noise.
one up.
Microphone's definitely live. Got a date on this? Oh, on the cap.
All right, do a trade? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're all good there.
Definitely need more space.
Is this the other plan that's been signed
I think so.
by those guys? Not us?
That's everybody already, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing one. Going back at you, Don.
Just think I did that right.
Gotta be a better way to do this.
We need a table like on the side or something. We just put them out.
Yeah, to the side or stamps or something.
Sign that last.
This last one?
Fingerprint isn't that?
No, I didn't. All right, well, we'll get it on there. Apologize to the audience, all this noise coming through the microphone in this window, it's been moved.
Oh, not tonight.
Thank you, sir. There we go.
Anything left? That's it?
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
Good night now. Your Sharpie back. I'll lose that.
Somehow or other, this application last week only got 2 signatures on it, so whoever didn't sign it.
Okay.
Okay.
So item B was noisy but successful. We apologize for the noise and the interference in the microphones.
And if you're wearing headphones like Fred, it really gets you.
Yeah, we gotta come up with a better way to do that.
Yeah.
Right, item C, discussion status report on finishing construction of and acceptance of uncompleted, unaccepted subdivision streets. Don, do you have anything that we need to talk about in these items?
Airport, the developer's abroad for a few weeks, so we're not gonna hear from him. Maybe next meeting. I understand that he wants to release a couple of lots.
Who is this now?
Tony Segura.
Tony, so Pierpont.
So we'll probably hear from him for the next meeting. Rocky Hill, haven't heard. Piasta Road, there's a lot of work going on over there. Probably seen some of that, yeah, I don't know. Go up there or not.
Yeah, I actually saw a lowboy flatbed drove past me while I was cutting the grass this afternoon.
They're
So it
adjusting
was empty,
structures.
but
They're adjusting structures, they're gonna be doing the pulverizing, they're gonna be doing the, at least the he's going to pavement within the next couple of weeks, apparently. Finish it up. He wants to finish it up by the end of September if he can.
Okay.
That includes the drainage structures, the detention basins, the whole bit.
Is that the one Ramco was doing?
Yes.
To include the top coat? Binder and top coat?
I think so. Unless he's gonna wait a few weeks for the top coat, I'm not sure, but, he said he wants to, he told me that he wants to finish it, including cleaning out all the detention basins and the drainage system and all that sort of thing. He's have it ready to go by the end of this month.
So that road hasn't been accepted yet fully, has it? No.
Well, I guess it was accepted about up to the hill,
That's kind of what I thought.
I think the other side, the hill is, the part is being worked on.
So if it gets done in September, when will we be able to put that on for a vote for the
Plenty of
town?
time. It doesn't have to go on until January 31st. Yeah, January 31st.
Okay, so we have plenty of time to get that in there.
Okay.
For the town meeting, yeah, so.
Yep.
We have others here. We have Rocky Hill Estates.
I haven't seen anything in progress, no progress on that I'm aware of.
Okay, and Country View Estates, Tobin Farm Estates. No further information in regards to any of those at this point?
Country View,
That's Eisenhower.
yes.
Oh.
The developer, like I said before, called me about, this was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, gave me a call and said that he's working on the survey plans, the as-built plans and that sort of thing. And he just wanted to give me an update. One thing I found out this week is that apparently there's an issue with the sewer pump station out there.
Excuse me.
The Water and Sewer Commission has a problem with the way that it's.
Eisenhower?
The problem with the way that it's constructed. There's leaking in groundwater, there's no access to the interior, you know, through a ladder or anything like that. And it's graded so that they can't really access it directly with their regular equipment. It's graded down from there's a manhole at the edge of the pavement where the sewer goes through, and it's graded down from that, and they can't make the slope apparently with some of their equipment, so they. I talked to a former planning board member just a little while ago to see if he had any history on it, and he recognized anything but the sewer itself. Maybe the planning board was directly involved in that, probably just really didn't know about it, but anyway. Suggestion was that maybe we can work with the sewer and water department to get their consultant, who I believe is Ty and Bond, to go out there and take a look at it and give some recommendations. I don't know what the board thinks, but they can do what,
So Eisenhower Drive hasn't been accepted yet either, correct?
So what's left, just basically as-built and stuff?
mostly, he had to fill a crack in the pavement, and he was supposed to fill up repair the street around a catch basin, tip of the cul-de-sac, which he did. Looks fine. I think so anyway. I'm not the engineer, but I feel it's good.
So will we be getting any sort of official notice or documentation about this pump issue and the groundwater?
Yeah, the problem is the clerk is out on vacation this week, so I didn't get any correspondence from him, but I will get something next week.
Okay. So next meeting, we should have something that we can take appropriate action.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chairman, if I may, at the last meeting, Mr. Perrin brought up, I thought, a very good point, in that most of these things seem to be very open-ended. There aren't any end dates or even approximate end dates.
We're working on
So
that.
they just keep being carried forward indefinitely, it would seem. And I think Mr. Perrin's thought was that maybe in future, at least, if we can't do anything retroactively with these, but in future, we try to work towards some kind of completion dates or finalization dates, something that is a little more definite than this seemingly open-ended process that we're involved with now.
No, it's definite agreement. It's definitely a good idea. It's just a matter of,
I
How do
didn't
we
want
go
to
about
take
doing it?
Mr. Perrin's words.
We're a team.
Usually when you set a bond, which we,
Right, right.
Just
they
don't
were doing
think
it
the bonds were high
they're
enough.
doing this differently back then. They were accepting a certain amount of cash per house for construction of the street if the developer defaulted. And as a result of that, it was a different time, a different economy, and it was even before 9/11.
I mean, there's other things we can do too, is the bond and not release all the lots until the roads are done.
Yeah, well, the bond
I mean,
assures.
it's too
the
late
road-
now, all the lots have been released, but moving forward, if there's, say, 50 lots, you say, hey, this amount of road needs to
No,
be
it
done.
wouldn't happen again,
infrastructure.
it's not gonna happen again, because they were accepting it, there's a $3,000 deposit, I believe, per lot. They release a lot, they put $3,000 per lot in a special fund that would govern the completion of the subdivision. This is like in 2003 or 2004, and I can't really say what happened before 2006, so I jumped right on it
What do,
as fast
what
as I
do we
could.
require now per lot?
Not per lot, it's for the job, period.
So what is the percentage we're requiring?
Now, whatever the job costs to finish the roadway, the actual cost, to the town. You know, the prevailing wages and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, right now, it's the average cost, the actual cost to the town with a 20% contingency is basically the way that Jeff Walsh does it. You haven't met Jeff yet, but maybe he can come in a session sometime in the next few weeks.
One of the problems that I've observed is that as, especially in larger subdivisions, if a third of the houses are complete, they don't want to put the final top coat on it until everything is done, so they don't rip everything up. But they ask for release on everything else. So all you're doing is holding a percentage of that back. They always want their money back as far as they're going, and then at some point in time, you only have a small bucket to pull money out of as opposed to a larger one, and then you've got no leverage.
Exactly.
Well, we're
And
watching that
as
with
these things
Pierpont.
continue, you're looking at the present value of those monies, but then if you're 10 years further down the line, that's not
Well,
the same value.
We've amended the regulations too over the past few years since I've been here. And it's pretty clear, 2 years.
Do you?
You set an amount, 2 years. If it doesn't come in 2 years, we take it or you finish it. Or you give us more money.
2 years from what? From begin?
From the date they begin the bond. We're all up to date with Pierpont, for example, because Jeff Walsh has been looking at that quite a bit. And if you give us the estimates, and Tony gave us the money, and or the credit, whatever the occasion was, we're all set with that. I mean, we're watching that closely, so it's not. it's
I've
not
heard
gonna be
from
an
residents up there that whereas the road may be or may not be complete, there's yards that border on there that maybe have a slope or whatever that aren't getting completed. I talked to one resident who did his front lawn along, I'm not sure if it's a sidewalk or the street by himself to finish it up because it wasn't getting done.
He hasn't asked to
So
release
there-
that yet, though, so we'll take a close
But
look.
there's this, that's the problem when you keep on having something that goes in a long ribbon, and then you can't complete the first part, and you accept the first part because you're still doing work way in the back. And then, but that guy, obviously the developer wants his money, he doesn't want to keep his money in limbo forever, so you have this, what do you do to finish this up? And I don't have the answer for it right now, I just have noted that it is somewhat of an issue. I mean, people buy their lots in a brand-new subdivision, they should have some assurance that the work that the developer is supposed to do is gonna be completed in its entirety, as on the plans, before he
It will
moves
be.
off.
It will be, there's about.
I don't mean
14
to
lots.
insinuate that Pierpont Estates isn't, I'm just using it as an example of what could happen, or what might have happened in some other places. I'm not trying to single anybody out or anything, I'm just
Well, you-
saying that we have to find a way to make sure this goes a little bit quicker, a little more.
More accountability.
Is this a routine,
I said we've amended that, I'm sorry.
is this like a routine procedure that all the other towns do the same, or is
Well,
it something we can research to see, maybe we're doing something wrong, or maybe we could be doing more?
I don't know if we're doing anything wrong, it's just that if you have a street where there's 20 houses on it, maybe the first 10 sell like this, and the last 10, there's a little bit of a gap, or it takes a little while. So why would that developer want to finish the street when he's still got 5 lots left?
Yeah, it
And
ain't
those
fair to
lots
the
that might
first
not
people.
sell for 2, 3, 4 years, and that's where the problems start already.
Well, I just did a subdivision in Millbury, and Stantec was the engineer, so the town of Millbury was sending Stantec out to observe the subdivision, and they were reporting to the planning board every deficiency with that subdivision. So whether the sidewalks weren't at 2% for ADA, or the driveway aprons weren't at 15%, or catch
Yep.
basins, or there wasn't a 4-inch throat in the back of the catch basin. So they were reporting back to the planning board, and this builder had to rectify each one of those.
And Graves does that for us.
Graves does that. for
Graves
us.
does that for us.
But I haven't seen a report on any of these roads from Graves.
Well,
Most of these are older. I think the only one that's really still active right now is Pierpont, right? And then we've received
actively
something from
selling
them.
houses. Well, there's a few coming in, Rock Hill Estates, but again, that was a court case, and there's all kinds of things involved in
Yeah.
there, but we're getting $3,000 per lot put toward the escrow.
But for Pierpont Estates, I think, last time I remember
Here's the actual
seeing,
amount.
seeing Graves was in May, maybe?
Yeah.
Is there was some work that had been done, and Graves went there and inspected everything, we've got a nice report, and, so, it's being done, it's not a constant, because there's not constant work on a lot of these things.
Hasn't been done now, but we, again, just the amounts we expected to last for 2 years. So we're, maybe 5 months into that one?
The only thing that concerns me is there's not a lot of money left in the escrows. So
I know
what's,
there isn't in those, but.
what's the
it's different.
incentive for the builder to wanna finish?
Well,
Other
the thing
than a
is,
good
money to it ourselves.
reputation.
If he goes away, doesn't wanna finish, eventually we'll take the money and do it ourselves. But these three that are listed over here, I can't really, I inherited those. We're doing
Well,
best we can
what
do.
happens if we have escrow money in an account that's not enough to finish?
That's the problem. I inherited a few of those, but I'm telling you, the ones that I've done since I've been here,
Yeah.
not a problem.
Cause I know there was one, I don't know where Chandler Boyd lives. You know Chandler Boyd, the cop? So his road is literally falling apart, and I forget the name of the road. But they talked about having the town pave it with with the money that's in bond, and there was not even enough to buy the asphalt. That concerns me,
Yeah.
that
It's
these
not gonna
people are
happen
paying
anymore.
taxes.
Not gonna happen anymore.
No, I know it's not you, Don, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
that just concerns me that these individuals are paying property taxes and the town doesn't plow the road and it's crumbling, and they may all have to pitch in to pay for a road to be taken over by the town,
Through no fault of their own.
no fault of their own. That's just,
Doesn't seem right.
Doesn't happen anymore, though.
no, I know, Don.
Can I go back for a minute to that pumping station,
Sure.
which I'm sure you're glad to go back to?
I would wanna go back there, it's gonna.
Gra- Groundwater is coming to the pumping station at a pretty good,
Groundwater was rushing in there.
okay, groundwater's rushing in, and this was witnessed when?
Last week, Thursday, I guess. it
Last
was.
week, and it's September. So what the heck is going on out there in the springtime when we've got the water table high and? Well, that sounds like a pretty serious problem. I'm no engineer, but,
We'll do something about it.
because all of that groundwater goes into the municipal system,
Right.
and then that ends up being more cubic feet that we're charged as it goes across the river into Webster, if my understanding is correct. I mean, we went through a whole thing where they were trying to mitigate groundwater intrusion to try and get the rates under control. And now I just, I saw the posting when I was coming in that they're getting ready to change the rates, I'm sure raise water and sewer rates.
Yeah, so we hope to get a report or some kind of a statement on that for the next meeting, so that we can try to take
Well, I
action.
can talk to the water department and see if they can, sewer department, I guess, same thing.
Yeah, well, we can't do anything without some kind of an official
Yeah, maybe they can get their,
statement of some kind, can
we
we?
can get their engineer to go out there and make a statement for us, so maybe they.
So
can-
are there existing homes in that development that pumping station is servicing right now?
Yes,
There was like, what, 10, 12 houses on there easy, isn't
I
it?
thought there was at least 12.
12, yeah.
It's all flat up there,
It's
Relatively.
relatively flat.
All right, so that kind of discussion for item C in general. Moving on to item D, final inspection associated with the site plans, including the AMP solar. Anything on that? Nothing. No public hearing today. Unfinished and old business. Economic development planning.
Well, again, the Economic Development Commission didn't meet this past month, but they're meeting Tuesday morning, so. For you, there's been some work done on the Dudley Webster
17th, right?
Main Street plan, some information gathering and so forth. The planner's plate, I guess we move to that one. We're right into that one. There's, well, apparently we're getting some substantial grant money, but I can't, the state hasn't announced it yet.
Okay.
And started to work on the MVP grant so that we can get the action money that comes from that. We'll be prepared for whatever comes down the line in terms of preparing our vulnerable systems like dams and overflows of those streets and things like that to mitigate hazards.
Excuse me, Don, the grant money that you mentioned, is that the same grant money that you can't mention specifics regards to, that Mr. Ruda was unable to mention the specifics regards
Oh,
to
yeah.
that on
The
the
state
last selectmen's
hasn't
meeting?
made an announcement yet.
Okay.
Any comments from the planning board? We have no audience, so I'm not going to ask for any questions there. Any other business that we need to attend to?
I don't think so.
I believe I have that meeting tomorrow, right?
You do.
Do I have to sign up for that? Because they sent me, I think, the register.
They probably just wanted this RSVP
Head
type
count.
thing. I just emailed them.
Okay.
If there's anything specific, but I just emailed him on that one. He's probably not RSVP.
Any vouchers or anything signed?
We need chairman and clerk?
I think so.
My dues. So I keep up with stuff.
Sorry. Good. All right, if there's no other business, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Thank you.